Hey guys, Sandy here, and today I wanted to do a layout share with you. I wanted to show you everything that I completed at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club retreat in Ohio recently. So here are some layouts I completed. This first one has a huge title. Today we sell all the things. This was our prep for Black Friday. I am a retail manager, so I am definitely scrapbooking a lot of Target these days. So I used this pre-made chipboard title and I just stamped some stars on it. I used some Vicki Boutin washi tape and this arrow is there. So just a fun little layout. Now this layout is also has to do with work. We have a board where we can give recognition to team members, and this was on the board with me, and I just thought it was real funny. So I made my title Every Day I Hustle. I used a lot of Change the World, Save the World, Making Magic, those kind of things from the Chamel sticker book. This layout is 1, 2, 3 strikes. I couldn't really tell if anybody would be able to see that this says 1, 2, 3 strikes, or if they thought it was 123 strikes. So I put these little enamel dots after 1, 2, and 3. And this was at a baseball game. And this paper right here, this plaid, is a piece of October Afternoon that I've been holding on for a little while because I love plaid and I loved October Afternoon. This is one of the very first layouts I completed at the retreat, much flatter and less embellishing than some of my later layouts. And this is just me documenting Red, which was the in-flight entertainment system of Virgin America. I have this great gold puffy airplane here. So this was a lot of fun. This is a layout for my son's military album. Again, not a whole lot of embellishing on this. I feel like this album is probably not going to have a super big embellished pages. Some of them will be, but some of them are probably not going to be. It's probably going to be more about the journaling and the photos. And I'm okay with that. And this actually came from my Kill Kit with Style kit because I brought that along to the retreat. Now this is a photo of me and my daughter, and I've had this But First Let Me Take a Selfie card for a long time now. And I have been holding on to it because I knew I wanted to use it on a layout, but I was never sure which one, and this one turned out great. I did use some Vicki Boutin rub-ons, and this is a stencil that I had ordered when I saw it at Creativation. Now, this is an awesome layout because this is one of those pre-made mixed media backgrounds that's in the Vicki Boutin Color Kaleidoscope line. And I'm probably going to say Vicki Boutin a whole lot for this retreat because I had just gotten her products. I just received them, so I brought them with me. They were my newest thing, so that is there. So I have a whole bunch of layers here with these florals, and some of them are from the Color Kaleidoscope, and some of them are Paige Evans, but I'm not sure which collection. Now this back here, I love this, so I'm going to peel this off just a little bit. I used a stencil with some Brutus Monroe glitter glaze. Oh, so beautiful. Love this stuff. I waxed poetic about it at the retreat. So here is another one of those pre-made mixed media backgrounds, and I cut it a third off of it, and I decided to put it over here on this page. And these florals and labels and such things are from my secret sister, who was Scrappy Kathy. And this is a photo of my daughters and their cousins, and they decided to recreate this photo. Okay, so this layout is a cut file that I got at the retreat, and I decided that I'm finding that if I do cut files, like the cut file is like the bam, the wow, and I don't want to really do a whole lot different. So I double matted the photo, popped it up on some foam tape, put up this title that I believe came from some Dear Lizzie collection, and then I just did some small embellishment with dots and stars and hearts and called it good. Now this is going in my Disneyland trip. We had a one-day trip with Christina, Carrie, and I went on, and this was for a challenge. We received a little baggie of goodies, and we had to use as much or as little as we wanted. So the tag, this corrugated bit right here, this tag, another corrugated bit. I think there was maybe some stickers or something else in there. I'm not exactly sure what it was. So not a whole lot of journaling on here because it's going to be in a fun packed album. I'll need to add some more adhesive on that because that's coming off. Okay, here is a layout of my kids, and they were also great to coordinate their clothing. This was when my son was home and he treated them to Chick-fil-A. So this was a lot of fun, and I knew that I wanted to use this paper with like a focal photo here. And then I just kind of added the clouds and the flowers, and I did my thing where I put an enamel dot in the center of the flower. So again, not a lot of journaling here. This photo more evokes an emotional feeling for me, and then this is just like what the photo is about. This is a photo of my cousin and I, and this was a bittersweet day because love this cousin so much. She is awesome, and we were together because we were at my aunt's funeral. So I just did some layers. This is a camera print that is actually the close to my heart camera print for their Disney-esque papers. And then I just decided to use this camera as well because I figured it was a close enough match. And then I just fussy cut some florals out and just made it happen. And this is a title that said today. I cut off the TO, and I've actually used that on a different layout that you'll see soon. Now this layout is from some photos where we did some sightseeing before we went to Junkie Fest. And look guys, butterflies. So there's a whole bunch more to the story that needs to be told in more photos. So I just did like what this was and when it was. So 4 photos, a couple long border strips here, some big old flowers, and a foam thicker title that I inked because this is normally white. Now this one, I've got to say, I love this layout in a major way. Like I just really do. So this is some paper. It was a full 12 by 12 sheet that I cut out, and I cut out all of these areas. And then I colored it with the Vicki Boutin markers or watercolor markers, and then I added shimmer to it as well. So hopefully you'll be able to see some of that. Now this background, I just used a stencil, and this is that, what is it? Oh, I forget what it's called. And I thought, oh, it's right here. I had just received this, so I brought it home. The texture paste, and it's got these great glitter flakes in it. So that was a lot of fun. And I just put this through the stencil, and I knew that I did not want to add a whole lot more other than the pictures of the lemons. And I just put on Sweet Moments and this little yellow heart down here in the corner because, as Christina said, it just needed that little touch. And this is all up on foam. And a lot of these layouts are matted on black cardstock. I was just really feeling it. So This is a cut file that Melanie had cut out for me and a couple of the other ladies while we were there, and I just thought that this would be a great kind of just pretty layout for the Disneyland album. And here's that too that came off of that today. So I did Off to Disney, and this was actually a view from a window on the floor of our hotel room. We could see Mickey's Fun Wheel and Paradise Pier and all that great stuff, Cars Land in the background. And I just used a shimmer pen and glittered up the largest Mickey and just dotted stars and hearts throughout. Now this is an airplane photo because, as you guys know, I love scrapbooking airplanes. Some people love flowers, some people love like their kids. I just love scrapbooking airplanes. So here is this. This is an airplane that is at Disneyland, so this is going in the Disneyland album. Nothing other than I took a picture of it. Like, that's what it is. I was so excited to see this airplane in Disneyland. And then I just did some layers, popped some stuff up on foam, and made that happen. Now, this layout right here has a little bit of a story, besides the story of us. Now, as you guys may know, sometimes Shutterfly sends you your pictures and they're a little bit weird. So this should have been a full picture of us, like with our faces and everything, but this is how it came. And I did order this in black and white, so that was correct, but it just didn't happen. I had thrown it in my little trash can, and for some reason it had come back out of the trash can. And Christina, who was sitting right across from me, told me that I needed to scrapbook it. It was meant to be. So I did. I scrapbooked it. And I even willingly, without coercion, put these 3 butterflies on this layout because I really felt like, for some reason, they deserve to be on this layout. I don't know. Anyway, here is the layout, and I just really love the way it turned out. I'm super happy with it. And then here's how I covered that up. Like, this is 2 separate scraps of paper to create that folded over effect. Okay, so this was a brown bag challenge. Now, one of the things that Christina does in the Secret Not Secret Kit Club is give you a bag full of some weird stuff, and you have to use it all on a layout. So the weird stuff I received, there was this blue meshy ribbony type thing, and I inked it up. It came kind of like an ecru color, and I did not wait for it dry, so I have all this blue underneath, and I'm okay with it. This silver doily was something that came. This egg, this felt egg, which is kind of hidden and just has this little bit showing underneath. This is cut out of a Jane Davenport napkin that was in there. This cake pop stick was in there. The tag was in the box. What else? I'm not exactly sure what else was in there. Oh, this thing that said "you got this," and this butterfly paper, which I hid it kind of back here so you just get a peek of this. But this I thought looked enough like a heart that I just layered it up that way. And this is a photo documenting when I hit 1,200 subscribers, because I like milestone numbers. Okay, so this layout is another layout with that pre-made mixed media background. So these stripes across are pre-made, and then I used a stencil and stenciled in kind of like this trellis pattern, and then I did some glitter paste with a cross stencil, and then just did one photo. And I called this Sweet New Ride because it was our first flight on a new aircraft carrier. And then, of course, the little airplane up there. And again, matted on black. Now, this was a challenge layout as well. We had to Melanie had done a challenge for us, and we had to write down the one thing we really didn't like to use in scrapbooking and put it in a pot, and we pulled out a new one. Like, we went and pulled it out. So once we pulled it out, we had to use our thing we didn't like to use in scrapbooking and that person's thing. So I got photorealistic papers, and of course mine was butterflies. So I created this layout, and this is funny because these photorealistic papers are actually ones that I had taken to put on the give and take table. So I ended up taking them back off the table, and I created this layout and just titled it Mickey's Fun Wheel. Created a little Mickey head with the enamel dots there, and then this is going in the Disneyland album as well. Okay, so this is a photo of my daughters and how we just enjoy going to Mel's Diner, just as a little treat. And this transparency thing I had actually pulled off the give and take table. And then I just used some washi tape and some paper that I had, and then any kind of hearts and blingy stuff, and just decided to put that on there. Now this is a page for my son's album. I've already scrapbooked these exact photos, and they are in the family album. However, this is going into his album. This great border right here is one that was at the retreat house for us to use. It was really awesome. This Let Freedom Ring came from a Paper House Productions sticker sheet that we received. And like I said, like, I've already scrapbooked this. I've already put the emotion into it. And these are just for his album. Now, this is a cut file, and I really enjoyed doing this. So what I did was I took my Distress Oxides, and well, first I traced the cut file on some white paper, then I took my Distress Oxides and inked. And I feel like I could have blended a little bit better. My vision was to have the blend on each side of these white strips. Not to say I don't love this page, I definitely do. Even if it didn't turn out exactly how I pictured it in my head. And this is just glitter tape that I layered up. But super happy with this. This is on one of the Chamel Head in the Clouds backgrounds. And there was a lot of orange. And these little orange bits I didn't leave, like I just left them covered. But some of the bigger orange bits I covered with hearts and stars. And this is actually that same photo from this. Like, this is the same photo. This should have been printed like this in black and white. But, you know, it didn't turn out that way. And then I just did, this is the ongoing story, and it says 1998, 2018, 20 years, because that is how long we have been together and married. Fun fact, had our first date in April, and we were married by September. Now this is one that I struggled with a little bit. So this is the only turkey we had at Thanksgiving, and it was a butter turkey. So I used this cut apart sheet that says "You Are My Favorite," and I just added turkey and a couple little embellishments, and then created just a little cluster up here and a little place for me to add some journaling here, and I called it the Official Thanksgiving Turkey. And then wrote, "It's complicated," because I thought that that was fitting. Now this one is probably one of my favorite layouts, even though it is probably one of the least like embellished paper-wise. So I had this idea that I was going to add some glitter through stencils on this background paper. So I used some purple tape, and what I did was I just masked off like one area at a time. So I masked this off, put the stencil on, did my glitter paste through it, and I just kept doing it, and somehow I ended up doing it on every other one, and was super excited about that. Now somehow my purple tape actually ripped a little bit, and I just kind of glued it back down and left it. It's not worth it to me to try to cover this up or figure out something over here. It's just not worth it to me. And this is a picture of some of our family at my aunt's funeral, and I just titled it "Love These Guys" because it's my family and I love them. What's kind of funny is my husband and I are in the center, and everyone's kind of like around us like it was like a wedding photo or something. So I actually look at this picture and I call this our fake wedding photo. Some of these people weren't even around when we were married. She wasn't yet, he wasn't yet, she wasn't yet, and he wasn't yet. But still, it's my fake wedding photo. So we eloped, so we didn't have this. Okay, now this is a layout that I'm not finished with, and it's going to be a Disney trash can layout. And as you can see, I already got a bunch of layers going on here. Have some crisscrossed things here, and it's going to say hello. It's going to have hello in the trash can somehow. Not exactly sure how it's going to be yet, but this was the last one I was working on. Now this is a layout with a cut file. I just wanted to do it in vellum, and I'm not exactly sure, but there's going to be I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be journaling or a quote or a verse or something, but I'm going to have strips here in white with some sort of words on it. I wanted to keep this kind of simple. I did add Distress Oxide to the background to create kind of this milky effect here. And then I inked up this, it's still coming off a little bit. I inked up this foam word. So, and then there's a little pearly dot. So a little bit more to do on that one as well. And then this is a background I created in one of the classes that we had. The other background, I don't know where it has gotten to. I am still not completely unpacked or my room reorganized yet, so it could be out there still. Don't know. But that is a background that we did where we put watercolor up at the top and then sprayed it to have it drip down. And this is something I have done in the past. There's actually layouts on my channel with this kind of technique. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much for checking out my layouts, and I hope to see you real soon for another video.